see, it's about 6:45 in the morning. My coffee's brewing. And I can't wait for it to be done because I'm dying for my morning coffee. But anyway, I know you asked me for this recipe about 2 months ago. And I didn't write it down because there's really nothing to write down. So I'm going to kind of show you some of the things that go into this yummy chili. Okay. Now, understand, I'm going to bring you over here for a second. This is a container of a 6-quart crock pot. So that's the size I'm using. So when you see all these ingredients, you'll know for about how much chili I'm making. Alright, for the base, we're going to use things like petite cut tomatoes. I get some flavored stuff, it just kind of helps. Some tomato sauce, some beef broth, okay? And of course, we always have beans. Now beans, I don't use too much. Again, this is a 6-quart and I've only got 3 cans in there. And I also use different types. So for example, I got the small red beans, some dark kidney beans, and some frijoles negros. Okay, you can kind of use whatever you want. Sometimes I use black-eyed peas, sometimes I use garbanzos, or there's all different types. Just some regular yellow onions, and then I have some assorted peppers. I got a red pepper and a green pepper. I got some long hot peppers. I got some jalapenos, and I got some poblanos. And I'm going to dice these up, and then I'm going to show you about how big I cut them and a few other things that I want to show you. Now, as far as the meat goes, again, for a 6-quarter, I get it, a little over 2 pounds of ground beef and a little over 2 pounds of stew meat, which I'm going to dice up. Alright, so that's the basics. Here's the cornbread mix I use for when we have dinner. And alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start chopping things up, and then when I'm done with all this, I'm going to show you the different spices and stuff that I use too. Alright, I just wanted to show you this real quick. Now I'm dicing up some peppers. Now, these are just the red and the green bell peppers here. You can dice them any size you want. I like bite-sized chunks like this, but what I really wanted to show you was inside these other peppers. Now you'll notice the amount of seeds in the various peppers. Okay? There's the jalapenos. Now, in a hot pepper, well, most of your heat is going to be inside those seeds. So typically what I do is I'll de-seed them, but I'll put the seeds aside. And then while I'm making my chili, I'll throw some seeds in there, and then as I'm going along, I'll taste it and see how it tastes. If I need a little extra heat, I throw in a little extra seeds. You can also take the seeds out completely and just make up the heat with spices, and I'll show you that too. But anyway, just wanted to show you that. Personally, I'm not a big giant seed person. I will throw some in for the heat, but for the most part, I de-seed them. Okay, moving on. Alright, so here we have everything chopped up and ready to go. Here's your onions and all the different peppers. And here's the chunks of meat. I cut them down into bite-sized pieces. And of course, all of that there. Now, you can chop up garlic if you want. I just find it much more convenient to use that stuff. And then of course, ground beef. So now I'm going to put everything into the crock pot. Okay, you'll see I'm breaking the ground beef up into little bits. And I wanted you to notice that I'm not cooking it first, and I'm putting it right into the crock pot. You can do it either way. You can cook the ground beef first. Some people prefer that. The only advantage to that is it allows you to drain off some of the fat before you put the whole chili together. But I'm using a pretty lean ground beef, like an 85% lean, so there really isn't that much, and to me that adds to the flavor. So it will cook, don't worry about that. You're going to have it in the crock pot for 8 hours, so it will cook. So that's your choice, raw or cook it in a skillet first. It's completely up to you. Okay, now I got the the peppers and the veggies and the onions all cut up and thrown into the crock pot. I forgot to mention about the garlic. Since it's already the really minced up, chopped up garlic, you can use pretty much whatever you want. It's a to taste kind of thing. For this, I put in like 2 tablespoons worth. But if you don't like that much, put in less. If you like more, put in more. Alright, so the next step's going to be putting in all the canned goods. So I'm going to open them up. Okay, just dump all you can. Just put them right in. Right out of can. Tomatoes. That's my son. And that's my wife. More tomatoes. And then, of course, some tomato sauce. Okay, now, the only thing I'm going to tell you to do with some of these canned goods, you're going to see here. These are the black beans, and of course your other beans. They come packed in this like syrupy stuff. So I'm going to tell you, rinse them. Dump them into a colander. See, because you don't really need all that junk in there. Just run cold water over it. See all that? You don't want that in your chili, so just rinse them good. Do that with all your beans before you put them into your chili. Rinse. Okay, we got all the beans in the crock pot. Look at this. Nice colors. That's why I went with different colors. Now, we haven't done the spices yet. We'll do that later, but just mix everything up. You just get everything all mixed up so you got a good mixture. So just keep doing that. Okay? We'll do the spices in a little while. Say hi to my father-in-law. Hi, Joe.
Good morning.
Okay, spice time.
What?
Not you. Okay. Italian seasoning. Chili powder, of course. Crushed red peppers. Adobo. Cayenne pepper. Ground cumin. Now, you're probably wondering how much, right? Well, the answer is, I have no idea. Okay? So, you're simply just going to do things to taste, and you're going to taste it throughout the day. Now, Italian seasoning, you don't really have to worry too much about that. Just dump it in. Just dump it right in. Just like this. Put a little coating up on top of that pot of chili. Here, let's make this go a little faster. Italian seasoning is always good. What's nice about Italian seasoning, it just mixes a bunch of stuff all in one. You don't have to pull out a bunch of different jars. Okay? Okay, adobo. Same thing, just dump it in. Be liberal, it's okay. Adobo does not add spice, or heat I should say. So you can use as much of this as you want. This is really good. Okay. Now for, let's see, the ground cumin. Again, same thing, just dump it along the top. Remember, I'm making a big pot here, so you don't need to use as much if you got a smaller pot. Say hi to my mother-in-law. That's Diane. Okay. Alright, now, the hot stuff. The chili powder, the crushed red pepper, and the cayenne pepper. Remember, you can always add more spice and heat. You can't really take it out that easily. So this is the stuff you kind of want to just do in maybe phases, you know. Sprinkle it around the top. Okay. Actually, you can actually be pretty liberal with chili powder. Believe it or not, it's not quite as hot as like a cayenne pepper. So, chili powder is really more for that chili flavor. So go ahead and be generous with the chili powder. See how I'm doing that, right? Okay. Cayenne pepper is where you want to really just be careful. Again, you can be liberal if you got a nice big pot. You can always add more later. If it doesn't look like enough, no big deal, just add more later. So I'm at the crushed red pepper. Yummy. Now you see also in the crushed red pepper, you got the little pepper seeds. Remember I saved a bunch of those from before? Well, if you're going to use this stuff, you really don't have to worry about saving them because they're in this mixture. And of course, just mix it all up. And that's really all you have to do. Now, throughout the day, you're going to check it, and you're going to, you know, adjust the spices as you see fit. You can also add salt and pepper. Again, do that to taste. And when you cook it, what I do is I put it on high for about 3, maybe 4 hours. Get this thing nice and bubbly. And then I'll reduce it to the low temp and let it cook for another 3 or 4 hours. So overall, you're going to want about 6 to 8 hours worth of cooking on this. Alright, that's it for now. Alright, so the crock pot's going. You can see, I just started it. We're on high. And I just leave the spices out next to it. And just check it throughout the day. Alright, we've been doing this now. It's been going at it for about 5 hours. Let's take a look at this. It smells really good. Give it a good stir. Now when you're cooking in the crock pot on low, you don't want to open this too often because it takes too long to replenish the heat. So give yourself a taste and you know, do your doctoring if you have to. Add some more spice and then cover it back up and leave it. Okay? So I've already tasted this. It's pretty good so far. See, the meat's all cooking now, but it's still not quite fork tender. So it's almost there, but not quite. So that's why we want to let it keep going. Okay? Again, we have our spices out if you need to add anything extra. Alright. And just for some suggestions, I showed you this morning, you know, muffin mix, but you can also do things like chop up some red onions, put some sour cream on top, and you definitely got to have cheese on top. So get some nice shredded cheese or some sour cream or onions, and then you have a nice meal. Okay, that's it. Hope you enjoy this. Make it and then bring some in.